Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Bible study. Today we're in Luke chapter 7, verses 1 through 10, as well as Matthew chapter 8, verses 5 through 13. Uh, and today's lesson covers Jesus' healing of a certain centurion's servant or slave. So let's begin with actually Luke chapter 7, verses 1 through 10. It says, When Jesus had finished saying all this in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. There a centurion's servant, whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. The centurion heard of Jesus and sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him. This man deserves to have you do this, because he loves our nation and has built our synagogue. So Jesus went with them. He was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to say to him, Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning to the crowd following him, he said, I tell you, I have not found such great faith even in Israel. Then the man who had been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. Now, the Gospel of Matthew also mentions this miraculous healing, and let's go to chapter 8, verses 8 through 13. 5 through 13. When Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him asking for help. Lord, he said, my servant lies at home paralyzed and in terrible suffering. Jesus said to him, I will go and heal him. The centurion replied, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard this, he was astonished and said to those following him, I tell you the truth, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith. I say to you that many will come from the east and the west and will take their places at the feast with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the subjects of the kingdom will be thrown outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. When Jesus said to the centurion, go, it will be done just as you believed it would, and his servant was healed at that very hour. So here we have a Roman centurion. Now, a centurion was the commander of about 100 foot soldiers in a Roman legion. I was reading that that number kind of varied depending upon what period of time we're talking about, what era, but it was kind of I guess, a prestigious position, if you will. The position of centurion was certainly a part of their military hierarchy in the Roman army. And I read an interesting article about the qualities the centurion was required to possess. It said a centurion was required to meet strict physical, tactical, and leadership standards, embodying the ideals of a Roman officer. They were chosen for their exceptional size, strength, and dexterity, particularly in throwing missile-type weapons and demonstrating expertise in the use of the sword and shield. Proficiency in all military exercises was essential to the role. Beyond physical capability, a centurion needed to possess key personal traits such as vigilance, temperance, and energy, ensuring that they were always alert, self controlled, and active in fulfilling their duties. It went on to say obedience and discipline were paramount, as a centurion was expected to execute orders promptly and efficiently, prioritizing action over unnecessary discussion. they were also responsible for maintaining strict discipline among their soldiers, ensuring that their troops were clean, well dressed, and presented a professional appearance at all times. Additionally, they oversaw the upkeep of weapons, requiring them to be polished, rubbed, and kept in excellent condition. In essence, the centurion was the embodiment of Roman military ideals, combining physical prowess, discipline, and leadership while enforcing these high standards among their men. So, this particular the centurion, who was no doubt all of this, what we just discussed, but he may have been assigned to the army of Herod Antipas, the Roman governor of Galilee and Perea at this time. No doubt the centurion here heard of Jesus' healing powers and the miracles that he had performed as he had traveled throughout this region. So the centurion sent apparently several Jewish officials, who Luke refers to as friends, to ask Jesus to heal his servant who was gravely ill. If this situation was so grave, why didn't he go himself? And Matthew kind of leans towards him going himself, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, he would have been all too aware of the attitude that most Jews had towards Gentiles, let alone Roman soldiers. He did not want to interrupt Jesus or this Jewish gathering that would always occur when he came into a town. Plus, he was accustomed, the centurion was accustomed to sending messengers to carry his directions out to others. Here, he's not commanding. He's pleading for help. And this is kind of an unusual situation for him to be in. Now, I read Matthew's gospel about the same instance, and it gives us the idea that the centurion came himself. Now, the different wording probably comes from the focus of each gospel writer. For the Jewish audience, Matthew emphasized the man's faith. For the Gentile audience, Luke highlighted the relationship between the Jewish elders and this Roman centurion. So there's very little difference, number one, but the differences can be pointed probably to the different authors. But what's rather odd about this situation is that these Jewish officials recommended that Jesus healed this servant of the centurion, because the centurion was obviously very, very friendly to the Jewish people in the region, and he'd even built them a local synagogue for them to worship in. The centurion probably believed in God, certainly so, and worshipped, may have even worshipped with the Jews in the synagogue, even though he was a Gentile. I mean, after all, he had built it for him in the first place. But as Jesus approached this centurion's house, the Roman official sent word that he wasn't even worthy of Jesus coming into his house. Again, he no doubt knew that most Jews refused to enter the house of any Gentile because, well, they would be considered unclean, because the Gentiles were considered unclean. But this man had faith strong enough to know that Jesus could heal even at a distance. He didn't have to touch the servant. He could just speak and it would be done. The Gentile both acknowledges his unworthiness and recognizes Jesus' authority and power here. Even healing by word. He was a faithful man, that Jesus could heal with the power of God. He believed that the authoritative command of Jesus alone could heal this servant. And Jesus was amazed at the faith of this Gentile centurion. This is the main focus of this story here, the faith of this Gentile centurion. He had witnessed a lack of faith from the Jews, and here this Gentile soldier had great faith in Jesus' healing ability. Great faith appears in some of the most surprising people in the Gospels and beyond. I did a search of the English word amazed in the Gospels, and most of the time it was used for the people's reaction to Jesus, by far 99.9% of the time. His words, his powerful miracles, his healings. Here, however, Jesus is amazed at the faith of this Gentile. There's a big difference in the usage here. But this instance, of course, foreshadows what would happen as well. The book of Acts continues the story of the gospel and Jesus and his church. The gospel of salvation would be opened up to all people, both Jew and Gentile. And surprisingly, the Gentiles are the ones who seem more open to the message of Christ. The missionary work of the Apostle Paul would see great increase in the church as he went to the primarily Gentile regions and shared the good news of Jesus Christ to them. The faith of this centurion was honored by Jesus, and his servant was healed, was restored at that very moment. We don't know the full story behind the faith of this man, this centurion. It'd be interesting to know the rest of the story for sure, but we are given this bit in the Gospels to reveal the faith that this Gentile had in Jesus. He was someone who understood authority as well as the power of God. He believed in the God of the Jews, the one and only true God, and believed that Jesus had come from him. He had heard about Jesus and placed his faith in the power of the Messiah, the Son of God. His faith is one that we should all strive for. Simple, yet informed and powerful faith. This centurion's faith is amazing, considering that there's little doubt he didn't grow up that way. He didn't grow up with a household that loved the one true God. He came to a knowledge of God through the Jews, and then was ready to accept the Jewish Messiah when he appeared upon the scene with power and miracles and signs. And I want us to notice that this man could have let many of the obstacles of his day get in between him and Jesus. He could have let pride, doubt, money, language, distance, time, self-sufficiency, power, race. I mean, it goes on. But he didn't let anything get in between him and Jesus. If he did not let all these barriers get in between him and the Lord, what's stopping you? What's stopping any of us from a true faith in Jesus Christ? And better yet, what keeps you from coming to Jesus for salvation? And I pray that you are saved by the blood of the Lamb. But if not, what's in your way? It needs to be removed for sure. Maybe it's time to break down those barriers. Place your faith in the only one who can save you and heal you for all eternity. I pray this lesson has been a blessing. May God bless you, keep you, give you peace till we can meet here again and study another piece of God's Scripture.